أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام را، تلك آيات الكتاب الحكيم. أكان للناس عجبا أن أوحينا إلى رجل منهم أن أنذر الناس وبشر الذين آمنوا أن لهم قدم صدق عند ربهم. قال الكافرون إن هذا لساحر مبين. إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يدبر الأمر ما من شفيع إلا من بعد إذنه. ذلكم الله ربكم فاعبدوه أفلا تذكرون. إليه مرجعكم جميعا وعد الله حقا إنه يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده ليجزي الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات بالقسط والذين كفروا لهم شراب من حميم وعذاب أليم بما كانوا يكفرون. هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب. ما خلق الله ذلك إلا بالحق يفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون. إن في اختلاف الليل والنهار وما خلق الله في السماوات والأرض لآيات لقوم يتقون. إن الذين لا يرجون لقاءنا ورضوا بالحياة الدنيا واطمأنوا بها والذين هم عن آياتنا غافلون أولئك مأواهم النار بما كانوا يكسبون. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات يهديهم ربهم بإيمانهم تجري من تحتهم الأنهار في جنات النعيم. دعواهم فيها سبحانك اللهم وتحيتهم فيها سلام وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. صدق الله العظيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أيها الإخوة المسلمون والأخوات المسلمات, I welcome all of you to West London Islamic Center and I welcome all of you to our daily reminders where we share some lessons and morals from the Quran. Tonight, inshallah, we will learn some lessons from Surah Yunus. Surah Yunus is the 10th surah in the Quran, surah number 10. And it was a surah that was revealed in Mecca before the hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is named after Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, because Allah mentioned the story of Yunus in this Quran, a brief story about Yunus. Yunus is very special in many ways. Nabi Yunus alayhi salam, one of the blessing that Allah has gifted him that's unique to Nabi Yunus alayhi salam is that he is the only messenger, only prophet whose people, all of them accepted his message. The people of Yunus, after he called them for so many years, he suffered, they mocked him, they abused him, they did a lot of things to him. And then he gave up. He told them, he gave them ultimatum. 3 days, if you don't accept what I say, Allah is going to punish you. And 3 days came and no punishment came. No punishment. Allah did not punish them. So they mocked him and they ridiculed him. So he could not take it anymore. So he left the city of Nainawa in Iraq. Nainawa today is in Iraq. And the grave of Nabi Yunus is in Iraq, north of Iraq. So he left the land, he followed a group, and as we know, a group of people who were traveling across the sea, he went with them, and after some time they throw him in the sea, and a whale took him, and he was in the belly of the whale for some times, and Allah saved him and he came back to his people. Subhanallah, what happened was when he left his city, the punishment came. Allah sent heavy rain, flood, destructions, and non-stop rain for many days. The animals, the houses, everything destroyed. And they ran to the mountains, begging Allah, if you return Yunus, we will follow him. Please forgive us. The young, old, men, women, all of them. Allah said, مِئَةُ أَلْفٍ أَوْ يَزِيدُونَ. More than 100,000 people. More, not 100,000. Yazidun means the whole city were more than 100,000 inhabitants. The moment Nabi Yunus left in anger, Allah revealed the punishment. So they were begging and making dua that if he returns, we will accept him. And Nabi Yunus, because he disobeyed Allah, when he was in the sea, he was thrown. So he was begging Allah. He said, Ya Allah, save me. Subhanak, inni kuntu min al-zalimin. I did injustice to myself. Forgive me, Ya Allah. So his people are making dua, and he is making dua. So Allah united them. He was saved, and he walked back to his city. When he arrived, subhanallah, the rain stopped. Before he arrived, the rain stopped. The floods and the water receded. And the people, they come down from the sea, from the mountains. When they saw Nabi Yunus, they all cried. They apologized. They believed in him. They followed him. Allah accepted their iman. So he is the only prophet that all his people, they believed in him without any exception. فآمنوا, Allah said, all of them, they believed. فَمَتَّعْنَاهُمْ إِلَى حِينٍ. So we let them enjoy their life for a long time. All other messengers, the people half. Some of them they believe, some they reject, and there is a war between them. But Nabi Yunus, Allah mentions his story in this surah, Surah Yunus. فَلَوْلَا كَانَتْ قَرْيَةٌ آمَنَتْ فَنَفَعَهَا إِيمَانُهَا إِلَّا قَوْمَ يُونُسَ لَمَّا كَشَفْنَا عَنْهُمْ عَذَابَ الْخِزْيِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَمَتَّعْنَاهُمْ إِلَى حِينٍ. So hundreds of thousands of people believed in him. So that's the story that is mentioned in this surah. Coming back to the surah, so like any other surah that was revealed in Mecca, the Makki surahs, they have themes. The theme. So in the next 7 surahs, next 7 surahs, all of them they were revealed in Mecca. Surah Hud, Surah Yusuf, Surah Al-Ra'd, Surah Al-Ibrahim, Surah, all of them. And Makki surahs, they have a theme, general themes. The subject matter is always revolves around the belief in Allah, the belief in the Day of Judgment, and the belief in the message of the Quran. As we mentioned in Surah Al-An'am, for those of you who remember, we mentioned these 3 themes, these 3 subjects in the Makki surah. If you look at the Madani surahs, the surahs that were revealed after Hijrah, they have mostly they have rules and regulations and worship and ahkams. So this is the main difference of Makki surah and Madani surah. So Surah to Yunus, it has these 3 main themes. If you read it from the beginning to the end, Allah talks about these 3. So the first one, Allah said, Inna Rabbakum Allah, alladhi khalaqa as-samawat wal-ard. Allah wants to prove His existence, His power, His majesty, His knowledge, His abilities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He shows us the evidence around us. He is the one who created the samawat, the heaven, the earth, the trees, what is in between them. Yudabbirul amra. He is the manager, the designer, the disposer, the organizer. Yudabbir amra sama wal ard. The issues and the affairs of the heaven and the earth. He is the one who is running all of this. He is the one who is managing all of this. All these celestial objects that we see around us. He's the one who is managing, who is behind it. الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يدبر الأمر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياءً. He is the one who gave the sun light, shining, bright light, ضياءً. And from this we learn the benefit of the sunlight. ضياءً والقمر نورًا. And He gave the moon nur, a reflective light. So the light of the sun is called diya because it's the original light, and the light of the moon is nur, which is a reflective light. And then He said, لِتَعْلَمُ عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ. Because of the movement of the sun and the moon, you know the hisab, the calculations, the timings, the years, the months. Who is doing all of that? The sun is larger than the earth. Who is running it? Who is managing it? Who is organizing? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says to the Quraysh, these people who worship idols, Allah tells them, هُوَ الَّذِي يُسَيِّرُكُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. He is the one who enables you. He enables you to travel across the land and the sea. And when you're traveling on the sea, when there's a wave and storm, you turn to Him. يسيركم في البر والبحر حتى إذا كنتم في الفلك وجرينا بهم بريح طيبة وفرحوا بها جاءتها ريح عاصف. Allah says, sometimes a heavy wind, storm, knocks you down. You forget all the idols, all the gods, everything you had in your life. You turn to Him. لَإِنْ أَنْجَيْتَنَا مِنْ هَذِي. If you rescue us, if you deliver us, if you save us, we will worship you. We will remember you. فَلَمَّا أَنْجَاهُمْ. When they are rescued, they forget about Allah. So many ayats Allah keeps on reminding Quraysh. In another ayah He says, وَإِذَا مَسَّ الْإِنسَانِ. When an affliction touches you, when a musibah touches you, وَإِذَا مَسَّ الْإِنسَانِ ضُرٌّ دَعَانَا لِجَنْبِهِ. You call on us, sitting, standing, walking. You beg us, you make dua. And when He removes the afflictions, you forget about Him. So this is to prove the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is saying to them, if you want to know how great Allah is, and why He is the only one who deserves to be worshipped, then look at the universe around you. Consider the creation. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ. Don't you think, don't you see? Why do you worship an object other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So the heaven and the earth are the main, it demonstrates the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the abilities of Allah. And Allah keeps on repeating this many times. The second theme of the surah is Quran, the message of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his prophethood. So in this surah, Allah tells us what they say about the Quran and the answer, the response. So He says, وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا بَيِّنَاتٍ. When the ayat is recited to them, when they are invited to the Quran, قَالَ الَّذِينَ لَا يَرْجُونَ لِقَاءَنَا. They will say, ائْتِ بِقُرْآنٍ غَيْرِ هَذَا أَوْ بَدِّلْهُ. Bring another Quran. Change this one. We don't like this one. Change it. We don't. So Quran هذا أو بدل. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah told him to say, قُلْ لَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا تَلَوْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَلَا أَدْرَاكُمْ فَقَدْ لَبِثْتُ فِيكُمْ عُمُرًا مِّن قَبْلِهِ. He said, you know me for 40 years. Tell them, I have not proclaimed anything. I was not a poet. You know me very well. I have stayed with you for many years. I remain with you for many years. Then how can you accuse me of fabricating the Quran? This Quran I cannot fabricate. So Allah challenged them. Allah said, وَمَا كَانَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنُ أَن يُفْتَرَى مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. It is not possible that someone can fabricate, someone can create this Quran except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone cannot bring this Quran from. So this Quran is a confirmation of the previous scriptures and an explanation of the previous books, Allah says. And if you think this Quran was fabricated, then bring one chapter, one surah that is similar to this Quran. Allah challenged them back. أَمْ يَقُولُونَ افترى قُلْ فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ. Just one surah. وَادْعُوا مَنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. And call everyone you can have. Call all the expert, all the poet, the eloquent, who can help you. Bring all of them and bring one surah. Why Allah is saying this to the Arabs at that time? The Arabs at that time were the most eloquent people on earth. A woman will stand in front of a mirror and she will create poems. She will create lyrics without any education. She has no education. She doesn't know anything. She will create poems about her hair, her beauty, her husband, anything. An Arab man who is illiterate, you can challenge him. You can give him a subject. Pick up a subject and you tell him, create a poem, a lyric song, anything from this subject. And he will instantaneously, give you long poets, lines, line after line. Shi'r. That's how eloquent they were. With that kind of eloquency, with that kind of power, they could not manage to bring one surah that's similar to this. Because every prophet, when Allah sent a prophet, always Allah sent the prophet with mu'jizah, with a miracle that is suitable to that time. So Nabi Musa, during his time, the people were expert in magic. So Allah gifted him a stick. They could not challenge that stick. It turns into snake, it eats everything, and it's normal stick. When Allah sent Nabi Isa, the Romans were well advanced in medicine. So Nabi Isa, he came with miracles that is suitable to that time. He can cure diseases that the doctors at that time, they could not cure. Leprosy, skin disease, bringing a dead person from back to life. Someone who died, he will make a clay, a bad clay, and then he will blow and it will fly. And he can do so many things the doctors, the experts, they could not do. So it's to prove to them that this is not a magic or so. When our Prophet ﷺ came, the Arabs, they were very eloquent. They were well advanced. They had exhibitions, they had markets where they gather together and they challenge each other. These are illiterate people. The balagha was so high. The books that were written at that time, the language is so high that people, until today, they study the Arabic literature. The literature that we study today is from that time. So Allah challenged them with this Quran. And the Quran is not only challenging the eloquency of that time, it's a challenge for eternity. Today you will find Quran, you will find in the Quran ayat, verses that talks about science. You know, because the Quran is the last and final book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the miracles that are in the Quran, they has to suit every century. So now we are in the age of science, and the Quran, you will find in the Quran you will find different fields of science. There's an ayat that talks about science, about biology, about plants, about so many aspects of science, that when they discover a new theory and it becomes a fact, we go back to the Quran and we find that theory mentioned in the Quran. So the Arabs, Allah tells them, bring one surah that is similar to this Quran. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar is 1.5 lines. They could not do it. One of them tried, Musaylam al-Kadhab, he tried to bring surahs similar to the Quran, and people started laughing at him. You know, you can Google the Quran of Musaylama. And the non-Muslims, the Arabs themselves, they started laughing at him. But they could not laugh at this Quran. So because of the eloquence, the balagha in the Quran. And then Allah says, if you're challenging the Prophet ﷺ that this Quran is not from Allah, bring a new surah. Another thing Allah mentioned, He said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, O Quraysh, this Quran is shifa, is a healing for your soul. It is food for your soul. Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'akum maw'izatun wa shifa'un lima fi sudur wa hudan wa rahmah, is a guidance, is a manual for your life. This Quran is rahmah, is a mercy for you. This Quran is for your own benefit. So, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. And then finally in the second last ayah 108, Allah says, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ, O people, قَدْ جَاءَكُمُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. Haqq, the truth has been revealed from your Lord. Don't doubt it. It's from your Lord. It's from Allah. فَمَنِ اهْتَدَى فَإِنَّمَا يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ. Whosoever follow the guidance, follow this guidebook, is for him, for his own benefit. فَمَنِ اهْتَدَى فَإِنَّمَا يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ. It's for your own benefit. Allah says, this Quran is truth from your Lord. It's a manual, it's a hudan, it's a guide, it's a map. But if you want to follow it, it's for your own benefit. وَمَنْ ضَلَّ. And if you want to go astray, if you want to be divert from it, if you want to go another path, فَلِنَفْسِ is also against your own self. Against your own self. You are not hurting Allah. You are not hurting the Prophet ﷺ. You are not benefiting anyone. And this is, Allah is talking to all of us. He was talking to Quraysh at that time, but the ayah is for all of us. This is a manual. Hudan means a guide, a map. It's your choice if you want to follow or not. Then Allah says, وَاتَّبِعْ مَا يُوحَى إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ. O Muhammad, follow what your Lord has revealed to you. Wasbir, and be patient. حَتَّى يَحْكُمَ اللَّهِ, until Allah judges between people. Until the day of judgment, when Allah is going to judge. Don't grieve yourself. Don't burden yourself. Just be patient. And this is an advice for all of us. Many people have rejected the Quran. Many people have rejected Islam. Many people are fighting against Islam. They want to destroy Islam. They want to vilify Islam. Don't burden yourself. Don't be sad. Allah says, "Wattabi'." You as a person, as an individual, you follow what Allah revealed to you, what Allah has sent down to you. Ittabi' ma yuha ilayk, and be patient. You will be persecuted. You will be tortured. You will be humiliated. you will find pain, a great deal of pain and anguish. Don't worry, be patient. حتى يحكم الله وهو خير الحاكمين. So this is the second theme of this surah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the day of judgment in this surah. To warn, it's a warning that those people who reject, who disbelieve, who don't want to listen, there will be a day where Allah will gather all of us. وَيَوْمَ يَحْشُرُهُمْ جَمِيعًا. And that when that day comes, this life of dunya is like an hour. إِلَّا سَاعَةً مِنَ النَّهَارِ. This life of dunya, now it looks long. But we will look back and we say, it was an hour. إِلَّا سَاعَةً مِنَ النَّهَارِ. Not only that, Allah says, يَتَعَارَفُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ. The people, they will recognize each other. They will know each other. You will know your friends, your families, everyone. People who used to remind you and you used to mock them. You used to disregard them. You used to look down on them. You will see them and you will recognize. We will remember each other. يتعارفون بينهم. Allah said, قَدْ خَسِرَ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِلِقَاءِ اللَّهِ. Woe to those who rejected the meeting with Allah, liqa'ullah. Those who refuse to believe that there will be a meeting, there will be one-to-one meeting with Allah. Woe to them. They will be the losers. Khasara. Khasara is when you lose your wealth, you lose the profit, you lose the capital, you lose your investment, you lose everything. Everything you owned, you lose. Allah said, that day, those who rejected the reality of meeting with Allah, woe to them. Khasara to them. Tragedy. That day they will see the reality. Ayn al-yaqeen. The certainty. When they see the certainty. قَدْ خَسِرَ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِلِقَاءِ اللَّهِ وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to his prophet and to every Muslim, وَإِمَّا نُرِيَنَّكَ بَعْضًا فَإِنَّمَا إِلَيْنَا مَرْجِعُهُمْ. Say, upon you is to convey the message, not to force. فَإِلَيْنَا مَرْجِعُهُمْ. They will return to us. It's upon us to account, to hold them responsible. So he says, you convey and deliver the message. They will return to us. Everyone will return to me. They will face me. They will have a meeting with me. So don't grieve yourself. So this surah is a Makki surah that has a lot of benefit. Allah mentions the story of Nuh, the story of other prophet in this surah, Fir'aun and Musa alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us these stories to show that Allah is in control. Fir'aun, after he tortured people for so many years, he was drowned, he was destroyed. And the moment of his destruction, Fir'aun believed in Allah. Amantu billadhi la ilaha. He said, I believe in Allah. Fir'aun used to say, Ana rabbukumul a'la. I am your supreme Lord. But when he was drowning, he said, Amantu billadhi amanat bi banu Israel. Wa ana minal muslimin. I am a Muslim. So don't worry about the tyrants, the powerful, those people who are against Allah and His religion. Don't worry about them. Everyone will return to Allah, and Allah will account everything, every single thing they did. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بما فيه من الآيات والذكر الحكيم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم اعف عنا وتجاوز عن سيئاتنا وجزاكم الله خير. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.